So last Friday when I was leaving the office, I was packing up all my stuff and I saw on my desk this game, One Piece Unlimited World Red. As someone who has no idea about One Piece or the One Piece games, I had no idea what I was in for, but I took the cartridge out and I popped in my 3DS because it was empty and I took it home with me and kind of messed with it over the weekend. And there were two main things about One Piece Unlimited World that really stood out to me. One is that it looks kind of amazing. Like, for a 3DS game, actually, I don't even need to qualify it. It's just a good-looking video game, period. It's got this incredible sort of cel-shaded style with thick line art, runs at a fantastic frame rate, has a full open world with an incredible draw distance, just like kind of gorgeous in a way that I don't think many 3DS games have ever been. The other big thing, though, that I noticed about One Piece Unlimited World is that there is no 3D effect in the game at all. Like, I actually thought for a second that my 3DS had been damaged in my backpack because I was flipping the slider. Like, no 3D in the cutscenes, no 3D in the gameplay, just a pure 2D 3DS experience, which is something I don't think I've ever seen before. So I actually looked into it a bit, and not counting eShop games, this is, as best I can tell, the first full retail 3DS game with no 3D effect in it. And it actually has me wondering, how much better can 3DS games perform when they don't have to worry about being in 3D? There's been a lot of talk this year about the Kinect and the fact that a pretty big portion of the Xbox One's GPU is set aside for the camera to make use of. Then last month, Microsoft made news by updating the Xbox One SDK to allow developers to opt out of Kinect entirely and actually increase the performance of the Xbox One's GPU by about 10%, give or take. Then at E3, Bungie told Jeff Keighley that that last-minute dose of extra GPU from Microsoft is exactly what they needed to release Destiny at full 1080p on the Xbox One. So thinking about the Kinect and how that might change the future of the Xbox One, it has me wondering, how much better can a 3DS game perform when it doesn't have to worry about being in 3D? An important thing to know about the way the 3D effect on the 3DS works is that it requires the game to render every frame twice, once from each angle for each separate eye. So for a 3DS game to run at 30 frames per second in 3D, it actually has to render 60 frames per second. And you can see how that would affect performance. Very few games, I think Mario Kart 7 might be one of the only ones, runs at full 60 in 3D on the 3DS, and it's something that every game has to take into account. It's why some polygonal games on the 3DS experience these huge frame rate boosts when you turn the 3D effect off. I think anyone who played Pokemon X and Y knows that the frame rate dropped dramatically during some of the battles, to the point that I actually played that whole game without ever using the 3D. Basically, here's my question. Is Nintendo loosening the requirements about 3DS games using the 3D effect? I mean, it would kind of make sense, right? Last year, Nintendo released the 2DS, which is a system that has no 3D whatsoever, and then Pokemon X and Y, their biggest game of 2013, only had partial 3D support in the battles and none in the overworlds. Also, on top of that, it feels like the general public just doesn't give a shit about 3D anymore, and personally, I don't think I do either. I've been using my 3DS on and off for the past year with the 3D slider just turned all the way down 95% of the time. Anyways, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but it seems like this is the type of thing that could be a huge boon to the 3DS from a graphical perspective. I mean, that thing wasn't really a hardware powerhouse when it first came out 3 years ago, and it's definitely not getting any younger, so maybe this could be a way for them to sort of make up for the graphical gap between the 3DS and the Vita. I don't know. Just speculating. Maybe this One Piece game is a total anomaly and this will never happen again, who knows, but I personally would like to see a lot more 3DS games that just ditch the 3D effect entirely and focus solely on being good, pretty video games with high frame rates. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments about this semi-conspiracy theory that I've formed here, and I'll be hanging out with you there. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Every time Nintendo's announced a Fire Emblem character in this game that isn't from Fire Emblem Awakening, I've been a little bit heartbroken because that meant less of a chance of seeing that game's cast represented. When Marth got revealed as a Smash 4 fighter last November, I felt 100% sure that it meant we wouldn't get to see Lucina in the game, as Marth and Lucina are two fighters who, for narrative reasons, would ostensibly have pretty similar fighting styles. Luckily, I was wrong.